Alright, and then here's the Crucible tree set, which has these thick bits of really heavy looking cloth clumped up at the bottom that kind of don't serve a practical purpose. And then they've done away with the chainmail covering on the outside of the Crucible axe armor. They also have different pauldrons. So this is like a standard set of gladiatorial armor. I think the specific type of gladiator that uses this armor, though, has some kind of padded sleeve that goes over the right arm. And then the reason that he doesn't have any kind of chest armor is because these guys were armed with really big shields. The snaky bits wrapping around his arms don't seem to have any points of articulation, so he wouldn't be able to move them at all. And then obviously, like we said last time, the serpents, if they're solid pieces of metal, would be super heavy. The chain set is pretty unremarkable. Ronin's set is a little bit too anime-ish for me. Like, it's a bit too berserkish. And the helmet looks goofy, especially because there's probably zero visibility between these thick iron bars that go vertically in these huge iron whatever the hells. Like, imagine trying to fight an enemy and they keep like zooming between all these little tiny vision slits, which does not be good. And then partial leg armor, the weird segmentation, and this gauntlet kind of looks weird because the part that covers up the back of your hand goes into this kind of collar looking thing that attaches to the rest of the gauntlet, and I don't think there are any historical examples of that. And then the other one is just a leather glove, and then it doesn't look like he has a chest piece. So this is Freya's set, and obviously with Radon and the Redmanes, the aesthetic they seem to be going for is like Celtic Roman, like a mix between Celtic and Roman. That's pretty obvious here. This helmet, don't know of a direct historical inspiration, but there are tons of face helmets throughout history that are mostly used in Eastern cultures, like the Kipchak Turks, the Mongols. Some Japanese helmets are even a little bit facey, and then kinda historical face helmets that were supposedly worn by Roman auxiliary cavalry. And then the actual, because it wraps all the way around, it's a cuirass. The cuirass is based on Lorica musculatura from ancient Rome. And then we've got these partial greaves and this leather fringe skirt, and these arm bracers, and these elbow guards, which once again aren't really attached to anything. This is probably my least favorite armor set of the bunch, just because of the weird aesthetic choices that they made. It's got these weird pointy bits that look like they would stick into the inside of your elbows when you try to bend your arms. Doesn't have a helm, and the armor for the upper arms, it's weird how it kind of flares out like that. And in general, the scale pattern on the cuirass and the arm armor and these upper pieces of leg armor looks kind of weird. And also, what's holding it together? Like, I don't see, just from looking at it, I don't see any rivets or any straps or any hinges. And I know it's supposed to be magical, and it's made of some material in such a way that it makes zero noise and allows for complete stealth. But it still needs hardware so that you can operate it. Probably doesn't move fluidly like a piece of cloth. It's probably still rigid. This armor set is good. This armor set is perfect, in my opinion, except for that weird little thing. Its peak is kind of what you would see in a 14th century bassinet helmet, but this is supposed to be a Renaissance era close helm, which is a heavy cavalry helmet that has a two-part visor, Basically, the upper part of the visor can come off, and then the lower part of the visor can come off. And then this little seam in the middle is where the helmet comes apart and folds so that you can get in and out of it. Then the arm armor looks good. Pauldrons look good. Tassets look good. It's got the fold, and it's got this nice little, not sure what that is, but surface decoration on it. There are no sabatons. That's a little bit of a nitpick, but it's got the little, I think they're called wings on the outside of the kneecaps, and it's got some kind of cloth up here. I'm not sure what that is. Alright, this is your standard bum knight attire. This chin piece looks to not be the same shape as the visor, and the visor itself is not really well designed. Like, that looks like a piece of scrap metal just kind of stuck on there, and that might be intentional because this entire armor set just kind of looks like different pieces of scrap from different armors stuck together. And then it doesn't have the little wing pieces. It doesn't have any sabatons. It's got no lower arm protection past the elbow on the right arm, which is the arm you kind of want to protect because that's your dominant arm for most people. It's got this weird metal shoulder strap, and then it's got all this shit on the back.